I don't even know where to start. So I just finished watching the Escaping Twin Flames docuseries on Netflix, and it is absolutely wild. There is so much to unpack with this docuseries, but in this video, I really just want to focus on how the claims made in this video is everything that is wrong when it comes to entrepreneurs and the online coaching space in general. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Hello if you are new here. I am Ebony Evaughn. This is my internet home, and today we are going to be unpacking this Escaping Twin Flames documentary.
We had 38,000 people in the group.
This is the story of falling in love.
They're saying things like, are you ready for the ultimate love of your life?
What Jeff and Shlia do has nothing to do with love. It's control.
So if you have not already watched this documentary, I suggest you go watch it if you don't want any spoilers, because in this video, I'm going to spoil that thing up, down, and left and right, okay? And I also just want to do a correlation between a lot of the things that were highlighted within this documentary and how it translates to just overall practices when it comes to the online coaching industry. So if you have not seen Escaping Twin Flames, I'm going to give you the brief synopsis. And basically, first of all, I don't know who produced this docuseries, but I do want to say I was disappointed in the sense of the docuseries. I believe it is 3 episodes. I don't know if there's going to be future episodes to come. I hope so, because for me, I hate when something is left incomplete, right? And so when the docuseries starts, it has an opening scene where this lady, I don't remember if it was the mom or the sister, was basically calling the police department and reporting this online community of Twin Flames universe as being a cult, and wanting some type of legal action to be taken, I guess. But when the docuseries ends, to me, it was still unresolved. Like, there was no resolution. I didn't see where there had been any legal action taken against Twin Flames universe. I didn't see where the person in the opening scene was able to like reconnect with their family member they felt like they had kind of disconnected with because of this university. So that I did not necessarily like from a production standpoint, but overall I do feel like Escaping Twin Flames was a good docuseries when it comes to educating people about the culty practices and tendencies that a lot of these online communities have. And that is what I want to focus on in this video. So just a brief summary of Escaping Twin Flames. Basically, the docuseries kind of speaks to either previous members or family members of people who are still existing members of Twin Flames universe. Twin Flames universe is basically an online community that is hosted by these 2 people. I don't remember their names. It's honestly not even important to me.
We're getting some prime ass tea.
But they created a universe for people who want to attract their twin flame, right? People who are looking for the ultimate love, the one person on earth who is their like counterpart they're meant to meet in this lifetime or whatever, in order to experience the ultimate harmonious love in life, etc.
None of it matters because yours twin flame and this is your union.
Jeff taught us to pursue our twin flames at all costs.
Now, I personally don't even believe in twin flames. It just doesn't make sense to me logically. Even when it comes to soulmates, if every person in the world only have one soulmate, when someone marries someone else's soulmate, it would throw off the whole equilibrium of the entire mankind in society, right? So the whole concept of soulmates or twin flames has never really made sense to me. Now, do I feel like there are people who are, you know, soulmates in the sense of someone who is a good fit for you? Yes. But I also believe that you can have multiple people who could be good partners for you, or someone who could be, you know, a good counterpart to have in a covenant when it comes to a friendship or a marriage or whatever that union is. I don't feel like we have just like one person who is supposed to be that person. Otherwise, the whole world, like, just throw the whole world away, because we know as people, we have free will to make whatever decisions we want. And a lot of times people make bad decisions, especially if you've dealt with some type of trauma, based on the experiences that you have in life. All of those things impact the decisions that you make. And so it's easy to kind of get off course. But I believe that we do have like a destiny that we have, or a purpose that we have in life and why we're here. But regardless of what decisions you make, I always believe there's a path that leads you back to whatever that purpose is. And because of that, you can't just have this one thing that must be true. Like, you must be married to this person. This is your twin flame. This is your soulmate. Because what if that person is already married? And we're going to get into that, because like that actually was the reality for a lot of people in this twin flame universe. Let me get back to the summary of this docuseries. Basically, these two people, they decided to start this twin flames universe to help other people find their twin flame. And in this process, at first, it was kind of like, okay, like your twin flame could be anyone. As the community started to grow, they kind of changed the rules and the protocols, and was like, no, like, you don't get to choose your twin flame. We will tell you or confirm who your twin flame is, and it could still be like outside of the group. And then they transitioned and deviated from that and was like, no, your twin flame is also a part of this community, right? And that is where you kind of get the cultist vibes and tendencies kind of start to show up, is where people are no longer allowed to operate outside of this ecosystem in the twin flames universe. Everything becomes codependent on your existence within this community.
I thought that everything in my life was going good, but I was just missing my true love.
You too can have harmonious union.
I found people that I can relate to and I can trust.
And I think not only is that what you see in this docuseries of escaping twin flames, but this is something that you see a lot in online coaching communities in general. When you join an online coaching community, people want you to start adopting the mindset and the beliefs that they have. And if you don't have those beliefs, then you're kind of isolated and kind of banned from the community. And in order for you to remain in the community, you kind of have to have this group think mentality.
I questioned Jeff, and his reply was, how dare you question your God? When I spoke up about how I was feeling, I got shunned by Jeff and 𝗪𝗫.
And so as I was watching the Twin Flames docuseries, and I saw just like some of the tactics and things that were happening, I was like, listen, like, this docuseries is everything that is wrong when it comes to the online coaching industry. And so I want to kind of break down some of the key points that I noticed, and then you can use this docuseries as an education, but also a learning point if you or someone you know is in one of these online communities. So the first thing that I want to highlight is the fact that when it came to the host of the Twin Flame universe, I think it's 𝗪𝗪, and I think his name was Jeff. But basically, they were not qualified to even be telling people, number one, I don't even feel like a twin flame is a real thing. But they were not qualified to actually give a lot of the advice and the coaching that they were providing within this community and within their programs. And so that is one of the big things that I'm always harping on when it comes to the online coaching space. You have so many people who, because you don't have to have any barrier to entry, there's no certification process, there's no regulations, anyone can wake up and decide that I'm going to be a coach and I'm going to be an expert in this thing and start teaching around that without any barrier to entry, right? And so that's kind of how it was with the twin flames universe. You have these two people who said they were each other's twin flame. They came together, they told their story of how they were able to connect and reach I think it's twin flame harmonious, total harmonious or something, I don't know. But now that they had achieved that for themselves, they were going to coach and educate other people on how to find their twin flames and achieve the same thing they did with this ultimate love, without any qualifications, without any type of psychological certifications, education. They're not therapists. They don't have any capacity to really coach people, especially a lot of people when you're dealing with things like love, loneliness, community, social connectedness. Typically you will find that people attract people who are kind of in a similar state. And so this is where you get the whole phrase when people talk about trauma bonding. So basically when it comes to trauma bonding, because you experience, maybe you're dealing with a bad breakup and then you meet someone else who's also just recently went through a bad breakup, and because you both have that similar experience, you now form a bond on your shared experience. And because you have that shared experience, you know the emotional impact of that. It's easy for you guys to bond and connect over that shared loss, over that shared experience of how you grew up in your childhood, over that shared experience of domestic violence or whatever it is. And so when it comes to these online communities, a lot of times what you'll see is emotional manipulation, because people know that you're in this broken state and you are longing to be accepted. You want to have love in your life. You want to feel like you're a part of something. You want to have this sense of belonging. They emotionally manipulate you to feeling like whatever that thing is that they have to offer is going to give you the desires that you want. This community and twin flames universe is going to help you get to your twin flame and experience ultimate love. This online coaching community is going to help you to build a 6-figure business, to become a millionaire, to become a real estate titan, or whatever it is, right? They basically emotionally manipulate you based off of knowing what your desires are in order to get you into their ecosystem. And then because you're going in from it, you're thinking with emotions, you become emotionally invested. And then once you're in the community, you have to start adopting their beliefs and their values and their mindset. And if you don't, you become isolated, and then they take the desires that you have, the things that you say that you want, and they kind of dangle those over your head. And all of that was kind of highlighted in this documentary when it comes to escaping twin flames. They told stories of how basically they would tell people, well, like, oh, your twin flame is this person. It didn't matter if that person was married, if that person didn't even, respond to you or like you. And I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing at these people. I'm just laughing at the fact that how absurd it is that these people felt confident enough and had all levels of audacity to even do some of the things or say some of the things that they said.
I guess
Stop talking, please. Let the man speak. The image of Christ was actually me, the second coming, not Jesus, the first coming. It's insane what I ask of you for you to have my divine light, and yet you get it, do you not?
How much power have I given to these people?
So one thing that I want to point out is that at the very end of the documentary, there's a statistic at the end that talks about how there's been a recent rise in online cults because of the rise in online communities. And this got me to thinking about some of the online communities that I have been in the entrepreneur space when it comes to the memberships and coaching programs about how to build businesses, how to start online courses, how to scale your businesses. All of them, a lot of the memberships that I have been a part of have been very cultish, have cult-like tendencies. And I remember being in this one community, and it was for online business owners who had already, you know, scaled to 6 figures, who were in the process of trying to scale to 7 figures. And I remember being in this community and just like some of the advice that the host of this community would give was just wow to me, right? She would blindly tell people, oh, you just need to raise your prices, focus on selling one thing, right? And for me, I was like, you didn't even ask her what her current price was, and you're telling her that she needs to triple her prices today. And to me, I just feel like that is not only bad advice, but it's dangerous as well. And even within this community, I ended up talking to a lot of people kind of behind the scenes in the low-key group chat, where we would talk about how, you know, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, listening to this person's advice, like my business started failing. I ended up having to take out business loans, or I ended up going bankrupt, or I ended up having to go back to a 9-to-5 or take on part-time work. And there were so many people who had these stories within the community, but no one felt safe enough to actually vocally kind of, if something negative was happening to you, you didn't feel like you had a safe space to where you could talk about those things, because it would always be like you are the problem. Like people would say, oh, if your sales are dipping, it's because you're not doing the work. It's because you're not showing up for your business. It's because you, like you're the problem, right? But then a lot of these people were experiencing these things because they were listening to the ill-advised advice that they were getting from the instructor. But if you had successes and you had wins or good things that you were having happening in your business, you were encouraged to post about those things, and then the host would like screenshot them, or like maybe she would bring you on and you could like share your success story on one of the weekly calls and things like that. And it makes it seem like the success that that person had or that they're posting about was a result of them being in the community, which it was not, right? Their success came because of just them implementing certain things in their business, maybe things that they were working on already, things they already had in the work. It wasn't necessarily a direct result or reflection of the actual teaching and education and support that you got from the community, but it was always positioned as that, if that makes sense. But if you had a negative experience and you posted about it in the group, then a lot of times those posts would get deleted, the comments would be turned off, or it was a lot of gaslighting and victim blaming, where if you didn't see success, it was your fault that you didn't see success, instead of it really being a safe space in a supportive community, to where if you can go in there and say, hey, this month my sales dropped by 5K, I'm not sure what's going on, and then you have people come in and say, okay, well, like, tell us, did you change something? What sales were impacted? Was it from one specific area of your business? Did you take time off? Did you implement something new? Did you stop doing something, right? Instead of actually masterminding and trying to gather around and support this person, it becomes the gaslighting and the victim blaming. Well, like, what did you do? It's your fault. You didn't do the work. You didn't show up, right? And I call it toxic entrepreneurship. And that is what you see in a lot of these communities. I remember even in the same community, that was the whole premise of the community was helping people who were at 6 figures to scale to 7. And very few people within the group were actually seeing those results. And I remember one day, like, someone made a post and they're like, I didn't learn how to scale to 7 figures in this group, but now I have the mindset that I can, or something like that. And there was a lot of comments with people saying, same here, I feel you, girl. And in my mind, I'm looking at this and I'm like, but the goal, the result that was promised is that I'm going to show you how to grow your business to 7 figures within 3 years. not that I'm going to teach you that you have the mindset that you can grow your business to 7 figures. And to me, it was just kind of wild. And that was probably one of the first turning points for me when it came to these online communities, when it comes to coaches, and just kind of how you have that cult-like mindset to where you have groupthink and everyone kind of has to have the same mindset, the same beliefs. And if you don't have that, you will start to slowly feel like you don't belong, or you will be isolated and kind of removed from the group.
I felt like I didn't recognize myself.
We were forced to change so much about ourselves.
I just started crying because I felt like that was going to be our last conversation.
You already took my daughter.
And that was the same thing that would happen in Twin Flames universe, according to the documentary, right? If you didn't have the same beliefs, if you didn't follow the practices that they put in place for you, then you were pretty much kind of excommunicated from the island and kicked out of the groups. They would block you, and then they would tell other members that they should no longer communicate with you as well. And to me, that is just wild. That is wild. But I do know from my own experience, witnessing this in other online communities, that this type of stuff actually happens. And I feel like a lot of people are afraid to speak about it because they feel like they don't want to be judged. They don't want people to say, I told you so, right? They don't want to feel shameful around even, you know, being a part of these communities. And I think that's one of the reasons why I started wanting to be more vocal about this on my own channel. Back in 2020, I remember doing a survey. I did a focus group where I basically just kind of asked questions to different online service providers about their experience working with online coaches and participating in high ticket online courses. And a lot of them complained about the lack of support, feeling like there was a lot of gaslighting going on. I have tons of videos on my channel. I think I have a video called Girl Stop Gaslighting or something that talks about the gaslighting that happens. And then I have another video where I talked about when I did those focus groups and I interviewed over 50 coaches, and they kind of shared their experiences and their feedback from being in these programs. I've done videos about the problems in the online coaching industry, the dark side of it. So I'll put together a playlist, so if you want to watch those videos, you can. But this Twin Flame docuseries really just covered so much. So if you have not seen it, I definitely recommend that you go check it out. It also highlighted the fact that I kind of just touched on this a minute ago when I talked about I was in this program where the goal of it was literally advertised as helping people who are currently 6-figure earners scale their businesses to 7 figures and beyond. And then once you were in that community, you will notice that oftentimes in these online communities, once you're in there, you don't get that result. They kind of move the goalposts, right? Even though it's advertised that, hey, I'm going to teach you how to start a business. I'm going to teach you how to make 6 figures flipping real estate. I'm going to teach you how to make millions through Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, through scaling your business, whatever it is. Once you're actually a part of the community, you also have a lot of manipulation and gaslighting that goes on to where they then move the goalposts, even though they use your desire for more money, for friends, for fame, for wealth, for stability, security, whatever, to kind of get you in a community. Once you're in a community, they then move the goalposts, and it's like, well, yeah, if you actually make a 6-figure business, then that's good, but the goal isn't to make 6 figures or 7 figures. The goal is for you to, you know, shift your mindset or change your beliefs around money or around being a millionaire. The goal isn't for you to actually make money through real estate. It's for you to learn the skill, or for you to, you know, get the confidence to whatever, right? And so once you're a part of these communities, even though you're brought in under one pretense, the goalpost continues to move in order to keep you within a community. And I think this is something that you see in the Escaping Twin Flames universe docuseries, is where, okay, they bring you into the community, and it's the premise for getting you in the group is saying, hey, we're going to help you find your twin flame so you can be in harmonious union. And once you're a part of the community and you're in there and you see other people have found their twin flame, but you still haven't, and it's like, well, this isn't about you finding your twin flame. And before you can find your twin flame, you have to do the work on yourself. You have to be in harmonious union with yourself first. It's like, when you advertise this, you didn't say I need to be in harmonious union. You said you were going to help me find my twin flame. Where is the twin flame, right? And that's not necessarily what happens. And so that is what I mean when I say that they're continuously moving the goalposts. And so instead of living up to the big expectation that was promised to you in the beginning, they're now moving the goalpost to say, well, look, it's not about, you finding your twin flame. It's about you being in harmonious union with yourself. It's about you getting closer to God, or whatever that goalpost is. And this is something that you see reflected in a lot of online communities. Once you're in there and you're a part of it, instead of that big shiny thing that got you in, the goalpost is now something completely different. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to how the Netflix Escaping Twin Flames documentary is highlighting everything that is wrong when it comes to the online coaching industry, I want to talk about the real life ramifications of when you have people who decide they want to be coaches without the qualifications, without the experiences, giving toxic and bad advice. And that is because it impacts people in their real life.
Everybody should be scared. It should be him.
I'll never stop fighting for my sister to come home.
Man, the tea is now being spilled. He took my child. He twisted her memories, her mind.
In the online coaching space, a lot of the communities that I have been a part of, I have seen people quit their job. The most toxic entrepreneurship advice that I have ever heard someone say is like, quit your job. I remember one of the very first coaches that I went to, in her consultation, she had you set a quit date for when you were going to quit your job, and she recommended that it would be within like 3 to 6 months. And to me, that was just like the craziest thing ever. And I'm like, why are you like encouraging people to quit their job? You're encouraging them to leave a stable, predictable income to do something that is unstable, unpredictable, and uncertain, and has a lot of risk that is associated with it. And so for me, that was absolutely wild. But even in the online coaching space, you have a lot of people within their curriculum that they will say, I remember years ago, I went to a conference and I heard someone who is a marketing genius say that before that she was a photographer, and she just quit her job, didn't know how she was going to pay her rent, had an eviction notice on her door, and started doing photography and decided to move to Atlanta, right? And I'm just like, that's wild and crazy. And I'm sitting here trusting this person with my marketing after hearing that story. But still, I stayed in the coaching industry for a long time, still paying for a lot of these courses and programs, right? And hindsight is always 20/20. But even in addition to that, there's a lot of videos where people will say, like, how do you know when you're ready to quit your job? And they'll say, quit before you're ready. And I'm like, that is the worst advice you should give someone. If you're going to quit a stable, predictable job with predictable income for entrepreneurship, you should prepare as much as you can. Granted, things always happen. You can't prepare for everything, but you still want to be as prepared as possible so you can set yourself up for success. And so it has always been crazy to me that people give that advice, but that is the type of toxic entrepreneurship advice that people give that leads to real world ramifications. You have people who end up getting evicted out of their homes because they can't pay their rent or pay their mortgage. You have people whose cars get repossessed. You have people who don't know how they're going to pay their bills, and they end up with stress and anxiety, and now they have all these health complications. They're on medications. They're dealing with high blood pressure. They're dealing with anxiety, other mental illnesses, right? All because someone told them to quit their job before they were ready. And even within the documentary for Escaping Twin Flames, it talks about how basically like there was this one girl who they told her that her ex-boyfriend was her twin flame, and her ex-boyfriend was not checking for her at all. Like, he was like, leave me alone, girl. And they were like, oh, like, you need to keep pursuing him. And like at one point he got a restraining order against her, and they told her, oh, that restraining order isn't real, it's just a piece of paper, you need to stay after him, eventually he'll see it. And this young lady in the docuseries literally ended up going to jail for violating a restraining order. And so, and I'm not laughing at her, I'm just laughing at the audacity that someone would coach someone and advise them that a restraining order is not real, when even if you're coming from a spiritual aspect of this, like even the Bible says you are not of this world, but you still have to respect the laws of this world, right? You have to respect the laws of the land. And so that restraining order was very real, and that the person who experienced that saw how real it was when she was in jail. And she was in jail for, I don't remember how long it was, but I know it was like, you know, multiple days or whatever. And then when she went back to the community, and after they told her like, oh, keep pursuing him, the restraining order isn't real or whatever, then they blamed her for her ended up in jail, saying that she was stalking her ex-boyfriend, which is just crazy to me. I'm telling you, you have to watch this docu-series if you have not. Like, the stuff in there is just so wild. I am literally just touching the surface on the things that I am talking about in this video, because it is so much that could be unpacked that happens in this docu-series. And I really hope, like I said, there's 3 episodes, but I do hope we get another 3. We see like some type of legal action. We see ramifications. Maybe we see members who are currently a part of the membership who kind of see the light after seeing the documentary and then tell their stories. But I do hope that we can see some type of resolution for not only, you know, people who are in Twin Flames universe, but other online communities that have the same cult-like toxic environments. But that is just my 4 cents. Again, I felt like this whole Twin Flames docuseries was absolutely wild. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Have you even seen this docuseries? If you haven't, I suggest you go watch it. If you did watch it, what are your thoughts? What are some things that stood out to you? What were some moments that you thought were wild? What are some things that you can see like, yeah, this is everything that is wrong with the online coaching industry? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments below this video. As always, I just want to say thanks so much for stopping by my internet home. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, joining the family. It's not a cult, okay? And turn on those notifications so you can be the first one to get notified anytime I upload another video just like this. Bye, y'all.